All right, first time changing the oil in the wife's new Cadillac. Well, it's not new, it's a year old now. We've had it a year. But the dealership changed the oil the first time. We got one free oil change with it. So let's see if I can figure this out. All right, let me roll under here first, see what I'm dealing with. Okay, there's no soundproof cover here that I've got to take off. Oh, wow. Hey, finally a car that has it figured out. Let me put the well, let's see if you can see this here. This is a first for me, I think anyway. I don't know if you can see this. Here is the drain plug. Here is the oil filter. Wow. The pan is going to catch everything. No cardboard needed, I don't think. Wow, in the 40 years I've owned vehicles, I don't think I've ever seen this. Oil filter and oil plug right there together, easy to get to. This is going to be a joy, I think. Now, something a little different here. There's a star on this oil plug here. That's interesting. I can still put a socket around there, but yeah, that's interesting to have a star on there. Oh man, I made a mess. I needed cardboard. That when it got to the end, the drip came way back. Darn it, I'll know for next time. All right. Okay, that's simple on the bottom side. Okay, now on the top side. Easy enough to get to there. This is the twin turbo 3-liter V6, so it requires this, what is called Dexos. I guess the GM specification, what they call. So it's Dexos 1 5W30, which Mobile One has the Dexos 1 approval on it. So that's what I'm putting in there, Mobile One. Now, unfortunately, with a filter change, it requires 6.5 quarts of oil. So that's not good. Unfortunately, my hardware store only had 6 quarts of oil. So it's only going to get 6 quarts until I can find another half a quart. But yeah, that's 6.5 quarts. That just kind of screws things up. You'll always have a half a quart you won't know what to do with. Okay, where the heck is the washer fluid? Brake, antifreeze. Oh man. Ah, washer fluid way over here in the corner. Do I have some? Yes, I do have some on the shelf. All right, that one looks clean. How the heck do I know when this thing is full? Let me verify. Yep, that's washer fluid. But I don't see any indication on when I know it's full. So I guess I'm gonna make a mess either way. All right, darn, it was almost empty, I guess. I don't have much left in there. And I didn't make a mess. All right, what is the mileage on here? We've got 16,781. All right, 16,781. Today is the 15th. 6.5 quarts. Mobile 1. 5W30. I needed a 15 millimeter socket. All right, that's it. So I put this in the glove compartment of the car, so the next time I need to do an oil change, I know I have the filter number here, so I know what to get. I have the quarts of oil, I know what to get, so before I even start the project, I can pull this out and see what I need, and then before crawling under the car, I just know I need a 15 millimeter socket, and so I should be able to crawl under one time and have everything I need and be done. So there we go. This is actually a fairly cheap oil change, all things considered. I went to my local Chevy dealer. We don't have a local Cadillac dealer. I got the filter. That was $7.38, I think. And then my local hardware store had the oil. After my discount, 6 quarts was $51.70. I need another half a quart, so what have I got? I've got about $60 tied up in the oil change, so that's not too bad, all things considered. So just a couple of quick thoughts on here. Cadillac almost has a perfect product here. This is the CT5 all-wheel drive. This is the 2022 model. We bought it last year, July, August last year. We bought it brand new. 550T is how they're numbering their engines now, but this is the, as I said, the 3-liter twin turbo in this car. One of the cool features here, I don't know if you can see it. Let me get, what can I get here? Okay, that may help. So when you approach the car with your key fob in your hand, this Cadillac symbol lights up on the back side of the car here. So if you take your foot and kind of go up like that, so if your hands are full, why the heck does my wife have a fan in the back of the car? So if your hands are full of stuff, you have the key fob in your pocket, you just go up and where that Cadillac symbol is, take your foot and just kind of kick up under there like that. The trunk pops open for you and boom. Put your stuff in there and keep on going. I guess my only complaint, this is our 4th Cadillac that we've owned. Until now, we've owned the larger Cadillacs. So first it was an STS, a 2005 STS. Then we jumped to a 2008 STS. And then a 2014 XTS. So those 3 cars were all the large sedans. unfortunately, Cadillac no longer makes a large sedan. This is the largest sedan they make. So we were hoping when they stopped making the XTS, they started making the CT6. And we said, well, okay, that will be our next car. We like the larger sedans. Well, they stopped making the CT6s. They only made those, I think, 2 years, 2, maybe 3 years. So when we were looking for another Cadillac, I said, well, let's see if we can find a used CT6. Well, there were not that many on the market since they only made them 2 years, so it was difficult to find a good used CT6 with low mileage on it. So I said, okay, we'll just bite the bullet and we'll buy a new CT5. So this is more of a mid-size. It doesn't have quite the room in it that our XTS and STS had. So that would be my first complaint. We did try the SUVs, but I'm not an SUV person. My wife didn't really care for it either. We like the ride of a car, even though the SUVs are plush and they do ride nicely. We both agreed after test driving an SUV that, and we test drove a couple of them, I think 2 or 3. What were the model numbers on those SUVs? We drove the larger ones, the 5 and the 6. We didn't do the Escalade. It's no way I can afford an Escalade. I'd love to have one, but I can't afford one. So we drove their next size down from the Escalade, the 6, the 5 and the 6. We both agreed we just didn't like them. So we drove this one and we were very pleased with it other than the room. So my first complaint, if I had to complain, would be no longer a large sedan with the Cadillacs. You have to go into these smaller sedans. Back seat, we don't have a kid anymore that we're hauling around, but there's still, wow, there's stuff in the back seat. The back seat is not bad for room for adults. Not, as I said, not as much as our XTS or STS. Front seat, plenty of room in the front seat, sits comfortably. As far as width goes, there's not quite as much room I've noticed with my, when my wife and I are driving, sometimes we'll hit elbows on the center console there. Not a big deal. Sits nice, rides nice, a lot of features on here, the lane keep assist. Features that aren't really in your face. 2 months ago, we rented a car when we drove to Florida over some plane cancellations and things like that. What did I have? I had a Chevy, I don't even remember what we drove. But oh my gosh, some of the safety features in that, they were just in your face and constantly beeping at you and warning you, and it somewhat got annoying. This one is very subtle with the safety features. It has the seat vibration. If you cross the line, it'll vibrate, one side or the other on your hip. Lane keep assist, if you hit the white line, you can feel the steering wheel bringing you back and keeping you within the lines there, so I like that. I guess another complaint I would have, if I have to complain, would be the noise of the ventilated seat. So this is, yeah, first world problems here. When you turn the ventilated seats on, you can hear that fan noise, and I don't think I've ever had that before in another car. There are some features here that our first Cadillac, our STS, as far as features go, our first STS, that 2005, was probably our best one. That had all the features on it. And ever since then, we've tried to buy Cadillacs to match that one. Cadillac has gotten rid of some of the features, and I don't know why. One of the cool features was the sun visor in the first STS we had. When you flip this sun visor around, then they had a second sun visor to flip under here, because if you're traveling, you're constantly moving this sun visor from the front to the side to keep the sun out of your eyes. Well, that first Cadillac had another visor that flipped down, so you didn't have to keep moving them. We haven't found that on one since. On our XTS, what we did like about that one is they had sunshades on the back windows, manual sunshades that you could pull up and hook to block the back windows, and then an electric sunshade on the rear window that you could pull up and kind of a sunshade privacy, and that was really nice. One of the other features this car doesn't have that I haven't found, and I'm surprised, is the radio speed volume control. Am I explaining that right? So when you slow down, your radio will lower as well. Now this car is pretty quiet. It's not a big deal, but we have noticed that sometimes as you're going along, especially if you're traveling at 70, 75 miles an hour and you're on a noisy road and you have to turn the radio up a little bit, and then when you slow down, that radio volume does not adjust. All the other cars we've had adjust. I've looked in all of the settings here. I can't find it if it's on here. So yeah, very, very few complaints. As I've said, Cadillac has just about got a perfect product here. So this is actually the first Cadillac we have purchased new. Our other 3 Cadillacs were used with, I don't know, about 40,000 miles on them when we purchased them. So this is our first new one. So so far so good with the, what did I say, 16,000 miles on it. Very few complaints. Okay, I've bored you enough. It's pretty sad that the world we live in and that we're complaining about the noise of a ventilated seat. Okay, I'm gonna check air pressure in the tires and then get this back to my wife. She's got an appointment that she needs to keep, so I've got to get it back to her in order for her to keep that appointment. Well, I just found something I didn't realize was on here as I was resetting the oil minder. So if I scroll through here, well, here's one thing. Revolutions per 10,000. So would that be like 41 million revolutions? I'm not sure. But then this tracks hours. So almost 500 hours on this car, 114 idle hours. That seems pretty high for idling hours, but there's more, which, oh, I gotta go this way. Look at that, brake pad life. 94% front, 92% rear. Now, how does it know that? That's interesting. Air filter life. Who knew? We've still got 68% on the air filter. So, wow. First time seeing those features. Was looking for tire pressure. I've aired them up to 38 pounds. Tire status, there we go. And there we go. 37, 38, 38, 39. Alright, so what the hell is transmission fluid? Oh, just temperature. Okay. So let's go back to time and temperature. There we go. Okay, one more cool feature and then I'll stop here. So the rear view mirror. You can either look at it as a mirror or flip it and use the camera instead. So as you can see, you can no longer see me or my camera in the mirror. This is the camera view. So I can flip it back and that's the mirror. I prefer the camera view myself. My wife likes the mirror view, but the camera view. Okay, battery went dead. So what was I saying? I prefer the camera view. The only issue I see is when you're backing up to something real close, the view isn't quite what you're expecting because the camera is actually on top of the car. Let me show you. This is where the camera is for that rear view camera. So now it does have backup cameras on it so you can see a little better, but if you're one like me that relies on mirrors when you're backing up, then you are going to get a little different view with that camera up there versus the backup camera here. And it does have 360 view, so you can see all the way around the car, and then there's your backup. And then once you put it in to go forward, it changes to the front view. So I'll do that again. That's the rear view. I'm in reverse. So now as I change to go forward, this is the front view of the car. And so that stays on until you get to about, well, I don't know, 5 miles an hour. Let's see, 4, 5, 6. Well, I'm not sure how long it stays on. Maybe up to 10 miles an hour. I don't know because I don't drive the car that much. I know my wife uses that feature when she's parking at home. She can see how close to get to the curb or the sidewalk or the deck or whatever, so she uses that feature. I personally, I don't use it. That's enough of me, I won't say bragging, but talking about the car and its features. So let me, I guess I'll stop and put some gas in it for my wife and get it back home so she can head off to her appointment. All right, I'm gonna say, see ya. Okay, one more complaint. You see that? I'm not a seatbelt person. Buckle seatbelt. I can dismiss that. But that chime, you hear that chime? Any other vehicle I've owned, I've been able to turn that chime off. This chime stays on for about 2 to 3 minutes. There are certain places I know when I leave my house where it's going to turn off. And then it doesn't come back on until you turn the car off and start again. But yeah, you have to put up with that for 2 or 3 minutes. So if anybody knows how to turn that off, please let me know. I've done a little bit of research on the internet. I haven't found the correct codes on, you know, sticking my tongue out while scratching my nuts and hitting the brakes 3 times, you know. There's got to be a code out there. So there we go, it's turned off now. So there's got to be a code out there to turn that reminder off. So if anybody knows what that code is, please make a comment about that, because I would like to get that turned off. It just annoys the hell out of me. Well, I can deal with it for 2 or 3 minutes. It annoys the passengers, you know, when I'm driving, whether it's my wife or whoever else is in the car. They kind of give you that funny look and say, what the hell is that? So, yeah, if you know, let me know in the comments. Thanks. See ya!